Hello, everyone. This is me from the future. It's been about 5 days since I did this interview with the wonderful Carl Stedmond, and I'm outside for a change. But yeah, I know a lot of you may not have enough time to watch a 40-minute interview, so I thought I could address the main takeaway at the start here, which is to follow Carl on his TikTok account and his YouTube channel. I remember seeing Carl's videos on my YouTube homepage and thinking he had such an incredible energy. So it was really, really wonderful to get to meet him and talk with him. We talk about Eckhart Tolle, spirituality, a little bit about quantum physics, and Canada as well. And it was really nice to just get to know him a little bit more. So yeah, it was just very wonderful to finally meet him. And without further ado, enjoy the interview. All right. I love your background first and foremost. Is
Oh,
that
thank you.
what is that? Is that like a painting of the Buddha?
No, it's actually I just ordered it about a month ago. It's like I have a big sheet and with so I can put anything up there.
Oh, it's a
Yeah.
sheet. Okay.
Well, I ordered it from Amazon actually. So for different things, I'm a singer as well. I put different backgrounds up.
Okay. So you have like one of the Buddha and then you have like a picture of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because to me they all understood the power and the divinity that we all hold within. They were all given the same message, I believe.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
So as I understand, it's still Thursday where you're from, right?
it is. Yeah,
All right. So I would just like to start off by asking, how has your Thursday been so far?
fantastic. Yeah, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Southeast Asia, specifically
Oh,
Singapore.
oh,
Have you been there
yeah.
before?
No, I haven't. No, but this is such a clear picture, and the sound is like there's no, lag in the time or anything.
Right? And that's why I want to
Yeah,
use Google Meets. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, it's great.
Isn't it crazy how like technology has advanced so much that people from two different parts of the world are able to meet like this?
Quite amazing, isn't it? It
Yeah.
really is.
And I was wondering from your perspective, when you were growing up, since technology wasn't as advanced, have you been able to adapt to this newly advanced technological world, or has it been a little bit overwhelming for you?
It's been overwhelming.
It's been overwhelming for me as well.
And I'm still adapting.
Yeah, because when you were growing up, I'm guessing the internet and technology wasn't really a thing, right?
Yeah, it wasn't out when I mean I've been around a long time, and so it wasn't even. I still remember when we first got a phone in our house when we were about 15 years of age. So there was no cell phones then.
Oh.
Yeah,
So growing up, what were you like interested in since there was no like internet? Were you like a video games kind of person, TV or like
we
sports?
hardly had any video games neither back then. I was into soccer, but
Uh,
as a young boy at the age of 8, I had to go in a wheelchair for 3 years.
right, I heard about that.
Yeah, so that really until the age of 14, I discovered Bruce Lee, and then I became. I couldn't do kung. Well, there wasn't any kung fu clubs in our area, so at the age of 14, I joined karate, and I still teach to this day.
Oh, right, right. Because I remember you were like a martial arts or karate teacher, right?
Yes, yeah, I still teach.
Okay, so you grew up like kind of like an athlete, someone who was interested in sports. What made you want to shift from kind of that field to more so like singing and performance?
I've always loved to sing, and after I had a mystical experience, I realized that we create our own reality, and we can do and be anything that we want. And so I declared myself a singer because every word that we use, the power of the voice, is also a way to create as well.
Oh.
And so I declared myself a singer, and I went out and started to sing.
At what age would you say you started doing that?
46,
46.
yeah,
And currently, how old are you?
65,
You're 65?
yeah.
You look amazing for 65. I would have never
Oh,
guessed
thank
that.
you, thank
So
you, thanks.
besides like soccer, karate, and singing, do you have any other hobbies?
Um, Hobbies. I think right now I'm really into consciousness and truly doing a lot more meditation, going within, and trying to spread the message to people, the power that we hold. And I think we all want the same thing in the world, no matter what country we're from. We all want peace and love in our lives. And, the world's going through a lot of struggles right now. And I believe when we change our inner being, the outside world reflects that. And so I try to be the change I want to see in the world and try and spread that love and peace, really.
Yeah, I see that. I see that for sure. I want to talk a little bit more about your music, if that's okay. To
Yeah,
my to
absolutely.
my knowledge, you only have one album, right? Is that
I've
correct?
got two, actually.
Oh, two. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. No, it's okay. I've got a children's CD
Ah,
called The Greatest Me, and I'm actually just about to promote that more now because it was done with a frequency of 432, which is a beautiful frequency that brings you into a state of peace. And each of the songs on the CD is more of an affirmation. So it is for children, but I've got friends who said they love the CD themselves. It's not just for kids, but we're going to be marketing it more for children.
okay.
Yeah.
And then the other album is called Diary of an Uneducated Man, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I listened to that on Spotify and I absolutely loved some of the songs in that
Oh,
album.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I think my two favorites are 2012 and the
Yeah.
other one called Go Within.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can you talk a little bit more about what inspired you to make that album and those songs?
Yeah. 2012 was, I started to have my shift in consciousness in 2005. And so I started to really look deeper into what the ancients were saying about the time that we're now living in, and my own experiences of my shift in consciousness. And I started to understand that 2012 was never about the end of the world. It was about the beginning of a new world where people will be starting to understand that they are all part of the divine, whatever you want to call this universal energy. And as we started to realize this, and we're going to be getting a lot of changes and a lot of shifts in the world, Mother Earth itself, which is a conscious being, also vibrates at a certain level. And these changes were going to happen. And a lot of the energy was coming in around the year of 2012. And so my song was to try and bring that awareness to people that love is the answer to, to, to make the world a better place when we have that frequency of love. So that's why I wrote the song.
And then Go Within is such a beautiful song where you talk about it's better to have loved and lost than not have loved at all. And that was a
Yeah,
lyric that connected with me specifically because I feel like a lot of people, we meet people, then we eventually just naturally grow apart. And there's a lot of pain with that, but also as you mentioned, it's better to have just met them in the first place than not have met them at all. I think that was really,
yeah,
really beautiful. Um,
yeah.
so like I want to know more about your singing and performance career. Like, what do you exactly do?
Good question.
Yeah.
um, I started when I realized that we can do anything. I went out and bought backing tracks because I didn't have a band and I wasn't about to wait around. So I started singing with backing tracks, and then I started to write songs after my mystical experience. Probably about 6 months after I'd started to go out and sing, and um, then I had this experience. Then I started to actually write songs after the experience. And I met a gentleman that was a bit of a celebrity in Canada. And I was a part-time cameraman. And I met him on a show. And I told him I'd been writing songs. And he said, oh, well, just let me see the songs. So I gave him the songs. And he emailed me back, said, I really like the content of all your songs. So maybe we could do a CD with you. So he took me under his wing, and he was a musician. I'd never played an instrument. And so we went into his studio and we created the CD together. He brought the musicians in, and I'd written the lyrics. And so I was doing that, but also I was singing all songs because I love a lot of musicians, all different types, the Beatles, Bob Marley, Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra. I love the wide variety of different artists. So I'd perform their songs with backing tracks. And a couple of times people would come up to me and said, I close my eyes and I can hear Rod Stewart. So then, and I'd liked Rod Stewart too growing up. So I thought, I'll include more of Rod's songs. And the more I included of Rod's songs, the more people would come up and go, that was fantastic. You sound like Rod Stewart. So then I started to do Rod Stewart tributes, even putting a blonde wig on and going out and doing
that's
his songs.
what it is.
Yeah. So I do them all. Yeah. I just love to sing.
And you like sing everywhere. I've seen clips of you just singing like near a lake or like at a old folks home. You'll sing anywhere, basically.
Yeah, anywhere and everywhere, And again, I love to just share the love when I sing. I give a message that go out and make the world a better place, because we can do that. And I just love singing. Give me a mic and I'll sing.
Yeah. Yeah. Is songwriting hard for you?
I wouldn't say so. No, not really. I think I'm a bit of a poet as well. Words come quite easily for me.
Mm.
And I keep saying, but I've got to work on my next album and start writing some new songs. Yeah, just getting the time to do it now.
So you are writing new songs?
You know, this is terrible, but I wrote songs a couple of years ago and I didn't really follow up on them and get the musicians to bring them to life.
Okay.
But I will be doing some more songs. I will be bringing another CD out in the upcoming future.
That's wonderful. And will you be doing like a digital release as well, or is it just a CD?
No, it'll probably be mostly digital. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So you live in Toronto, Canada.
Yeah.
But you're originally from Liverpool?
Yeah, just outside Liverpool. Yeah.
So tell me more about that. Why did you move?
Yeah, I moved from England in 1988 because my ex-wife's family emigrated to Canada. So I came here for a vacation.
Oh.
And I loved it. Within a week, I decided that I wanted to come and live here. So I came here in 1988.
Okay. And do you ever miss the UK, or would you say you identify fully now as like a Canadian?
I miss it a bit, but not that much. I love Canada, I still consider myself, well, half and half, really. But I now like to say I'm a human being, I don't like I'm English or I'm Canadian. I'm human, because that's why I look at everyone else. But I miss it a bit. I miss some of my family still live there, and I've got friends who live there as well. So I miss them a bit. I went home about 6 months ago, and I enjoyed it. But I think I've got two homes now, you see. Because I keep call England home when I'm here, and when I'm there, I call Canada home. So I've got two homes.
How would you compare the two?
I think especially where I come from, they live very much for the moment. They're not, I wouldn't say, uh, again, the different areas of England are different, right? I come from Liverpool, and Liverpool is a very working class family background. And it's people live for the moment. They love football, soccer, as they say in North America, and they laugh a lot more. They seem to laugh a lot more back there, you know?
Really?
Even though a lot of people, I know they don't have an awful lot, they're still happy with simple things in life.
I heard that like Canada is one of the most pleasant countries to live in, and from your experience, would you say that's true?
I would say so, yeah. It's very, I found Canada very, very peaceful. And then when I look back, I mean, I'm a big fan of Eckhart Tolle. I remember Eckhart Tolle talking about pain, the pain body. And a pain body is an actual, an energy. And some countries that have been at war has a heavier pain body. You can almost feel that energy. Whereas Canada has never had a lot of war compared to like some countries, like England have been at war, you know, a few times. And so you could actually, I felt a very light energy when I come to Canada.
Yeah, there's an annual list of like the top 10 best countries in the world, and Canada is always one of them. So
Yeah, that's right. It is. Yeah, it's a great country.
yeah. So I was wondering also, have you ever traveled anywhere else besides Canada in your life?
Just really on holidays, you know, I went to a couple of places in Europe. I went skiing to Andorra. I went to Greece, went to Malta, Tenerife, and then because that's quite close in Europe, right? But then since I've been in Canada, I like to go to the Caribbean, Mexico, Cuba. They're not that far away, you know.
That's so cool. You've been like around the world. I've only
Yeah.
ever been in Singapore.
Yeah. Oh well, I bet it's beautiful in Singapore. I
It's
don't know a lot about it, but
yeah, do you know where Singapore is?
not really. No, I'm
Um,
sorry. I'm terrible at geography.
it's fine because we're barely visible on a map. We're like a tiny island. So on the world map, it's like a small dot that you can
Yeah.
barely see. But it's in
Yeah.
Southeast Asia, and
Yeah.
we're near like the Philippines, Thailand, Indonesia. We're
Okay. Yeah.
around
Yeah.
that area. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the thing about Singapore is that there's no winter here. It's like summer 24/7.
Right.
So, which I actually personally love because I'm like a daytime person. I love the sun. It gives me
Yeah.
life. So I think
Yeah.
it's personally it's really great for me. But yeah, I would
Yeah.
love to travel as well, and Canada would also be one of my top of the list as well.
Yeah.
So,
There's a very interesting book that you should read if you like the sun, and it's called The Son of God, and it's SUN,
uh-huh.
Son of God, and it talks about the consciousness of the sun. So if you love the sun and the energy that it gives you, read that book.
Is it like a spiritual book?
It's spiritual science. I would say it's like a combination of spirituality and science. But I believe that spirituality and quantum physics, the great science, they have met and they're saying the same thing.
Really?
Yeah.
You're a big fan of quantum science?
Yes. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you like about it?
It's proven that we are part and parcel of life itself, nature, and just little experiments that they've done. Just the fact that you observe an experiment changes that experiment. So it proves that we are not separate from what we think that we're separate from the world. It proves that we're all connected.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can see the
Yeah,
correlation there. Mm. Okay.
yeah.
Are there like any like beginner books on quantum physics that you would recommend for like a beginner?
Um, Let me see. I think The Divine Matrix by Greg Braden is
Okay.
very, very good.
All right. I'll be sure to
Yeah,
check that out.
yeah,
Okay. So you mentioned a little bit about nature. Canada has a lot of nature, I'm sure. Beautiful
yeah,
mountains, big lakes. I was wondering, like, are you an outdoors kind of person? Do you go on hikes very often?
I like the outdoors. I've got a bit of a problem with my hips, so I don't do an awful lot of walking now. But it is getting better, more and more. Yeah, I love to be outdoors. My partner's she loves to walk, so I go on walks with her, but not quite as far. She sometimes goes walking for 2 hours. But if she does a short walk, I'll go for a half-hour walk with her.
Do you feel rejuvenated when you're in nature?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
It's just so
I
good to
love
just
nature.
get away from like all the hustle and bustle and just
Yeah,
sit in presence with nature.
yeah, absolutely. We live about an hour from the country, so it doesn't take us long to go out. We love to, and I live by a lake, Lake Ontario as well. So I love to be by the lake, or I love to go out into the country, and yeah, it's lovely.
Are there any like good restaurants in your area?
To be honest, we don't eat out much
Oh,
because my partner's a great cook, so we have home cooked meals quite a lot. So we don't go out a lot really.
what are the types of food that you like?
Well, my wife is from India and she cooks beautiful, spicy Indian food. So, and coming from England, the food I used to eat was quite bland and not that tasty. So, I feel very blessed that she's my partner and cooks beautiful Indian food.
What about maple syrup? You're from Canada.
Oh,
You
but
should love
yeah,
maple syrup.
maple syrup is nice. Yeah, I've just been starting to put it in my coffee, which is it's really nice too.
Yeah, you know, coming from Asia, I don't really know what maple syrup is. In my mind, maple syrup is like the equivalent of honey where I'm from.
Yes,
Is
yeah,
it like
yeah.
honey?
Well, it tastes a bit different, but it gives a nice sweetness. Like I either have honey in my coffee or maple syrup.
Oh, you put maple syrup in your coffee.
Yeah, yeah, that's quite nice.
Wow. Do
Yeah.
you just like put it on everything?
No, I don't. So I don't use it a lot, mostly for my coffee. Funny enough. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So we mentioned so it's been wonderful getting to know you and everything, but the reason why I wanted to contact you in the first place was because of our shared interest in Eckhart Tolle. And I was wondering
Oh,
if we could
beautiful.
actually start getting into spirituality and all that stuff. So I was kind of a little bit confused when I saw the picture of Buddha and Jesus Christ in the background because
Yeah.
I'm spiritual but not religious,
Yes,
and I thought you were the same as well, but it seems like
I am.
you
I
are?
am. Yes.
You're spiritual but you're not religious.
No, I'm not religious.
Oh, so
No.
those are just kind of for like decoration or
No, I think that I believe Jesus and Buddha and Krishna were people who awakened, but their message, some of their messages have been taken out of context because I think everything what I've understood in quantum physics is that um, the messages they give us go hand in hand what these great masters have been telling us. But I'm not religious. I don't go to church. I feel very connected to the universe without having to go to a special place, if that makes sense.
mm, yeah. But I did hear that you had like a somewhat of a religious upbringing, if I'm not wrong.
I not really. I mean, I was brought up a Roman Catholic,
Hmm.
but I did, and we did go to church, but not on a regular basis. And my my father was never really pushed it on us, because my father was Catholic, my mother was Protestant, but they weren't really pushing it onto us. Although I did go to a Catholic school, and when I look back on that, I think, and I have since gone to church, and I've gone to church for weddings, things like that, but I don't go to church anymore. So I wouldn't call myself, no, I'm not religious at all. I just love the masters, not just these, but I love lots of masters in many things. But I don't follow, I don't think they come to teach religion. I
Mm,
think their message has been sort of changed a bit to keep the churches going, and the churches are very rich, aren't they? People have put a lot of money into the church. But I do believe in the message of Jesus. But I would say Jesus was a quantum physicist from 2,000 years ago, because everything he says has said, like, pray like it's already been given unto you. In the law of attraction, it's the same thing. Quantum physics has now proven that once you get to a certain vibration and you believe something to be yours, that will come to you.
You mentioned the law of attraction, so I was wondering if you're familiar with the works of Abraham Hicks.
Yes, yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
God. I,
yeah,
I interviewed another spiritual person and they also talked about Abraham Hicks. But
yeah.
I don't really know that much about Abraham Hicks. It's a little hard for me to grasp some of the concepts that he talks about. I
Mm.
was wondering, like, from your perspective, what do you think about Abraham Hicks?
I think I know, like she's a channeler, right? She's channeling Abraham,
Yeah.
and I think there's so much out there that we don't know in different realities that they can be connected to these beings, whatever they may be, that can give us give us more understanding of reality than what we have been brought up with. You know, if that makes sense.
So you've read her books.
Yeah, I've read a couple, and I've watched some of the videos. You know,
How did you
and I
like?
think,
Sorry, go ahead.
sorry, go on. No, you go.
How did you like first got introduced to Abraham Hicks?
Yeah, it made a lot of sense to me. To be honest, it made a lot of sense because it's again after starting to understand quantum physics for a bit. I um I believe in all of them things. You know, I don't. To me, how can I put it? We're living in this world, right? And we can only do what we can do. But when we start to understand we have the power, when life is not what we were taught as a little kid, because one of my songs on the CD, you might remember as Sins of the Father,
Yes, yes,
is we
yes.
get downloaded by our parents' beliefs, which they got downloaded from their parents, and so on and so forth. And that's how they didn't know, but quite often they were wrong. And they're teaching that wrongness to the kids, and then they teach it to their kids. And unless that is broken and you understand that anything is possible, and we're starting to awaken to the powers that we have. And so anything that, you know, comes from channelers, maybe it's true. Maybe there's uh, channelers who are not quite from the light, or maybe they are, you know. And so I try and discern things. Sometimes if I try and use intuition, if I'm hearing something, I think, "Oh, I don't really resonate with that, but maybe it's true. But I'm not going to take that on board. But if I do resonate with it, I think okay, and it's going to be of use for us that we can move forward and make a difference in the world. Well, it's a good thing, right?
Yeah, for
That's the
sure.
way I view things like that.
So would you say you're more familiar with the works of Eckhart Tolle?
Yes, I probably. I think Eckhart is the master on the planet today.
I actually have one of his books right here, The Power of Now.
Oh, right. I've
Yeah.
never. Is that blue? Is that color?
You know, I think I bought it from like a weird website, so this might
Oh,
not be
okay.
the official.
Yeah,
But I
because
mean the
I've
text
seen it
is
green.
all the same, so
Yeah, of course.
yeah.
Yeah, fabulous book.
I think the official one actually has like a picture of him on the cover, which this does not have.
Yeah.
So I think I might have bought like an unofficial one. But yeah, I love this book. I even bought one for my father. That's how much it means to me. And just like meeting Eckhart and like learning about his teachings has just been so like revolutionary and changed my perspective on life entirely. I would I first saw him or like got introduced to him in I think June or July of this year. So I'm
Yeah,
relatively new to spirituality. I'm only like how many months? Maybe like 5, 6 months into spirituality now. And that's
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
also why I want to like interview other spiritual people and just get to know more about their spiritual journey. Because
Right.
spirituality means different things to different people. Everyone's
Yeah,
spiritual path is different. For me, I
yeah,
resonate so much with Eckhart Tolle's teachings because it's all about like connectingness, unity, feeling
yeah,
whole and complete.
yeah,
And that's what spirituality means to me. I was wondering what
yeah.
spirituality means to you.
Pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Pretty much the same. Yeah. And Eckhart changed my life. I don't know if you've seen it, but I put a video. It's out on YouTube, and basically, after I had a lot of loss in my life, around I think it was around 2005, I was losing my home. I just got divorced. My father died. I broke my ankle, all within a matter of 6 months.
Oh wow.
And I come home one day, and there was an eviction notice on my door, so I was going to lose my home. And I just rented an Eckhart DVD called The Flowering of Consciousness. And at that time, I was in such a dark place, I almost felt like committing suicide because every day I'd wake up, and then once I woke up, I realized it wasn't a nightmare that I could wake up from. It was my life. And then there was one thing that Eckhart said in that DVD, which he talks about a lot, you'll know. He said, it's not the things that happen in your life that cause the pain. It's the way you think of these things that cause all the suffering. So from that moment on, the light bulb went off in my head, and I realized that my nightmare 24/7 was all in my head. And when I come back to the now, I don't have a problem in the now. It's my mind saying, why did that happen? Why did that? Why did that happen? What's going to happen now? You got no money. What are you going to do? And I changed my life forever. So I really love to spread the word of Eckhart Tolle as well.
Same, same. Would you say you were a different person before you learned Eckhart's teachings?
Yeah,
How different?
yeah. Uh, I was in my head. I had a voice in my head all the time, and like most people do. And I realized that I'm not the voice in my head. And also, like Eckhart, around that time, I'd had a mystical experience too. So I started to become, which I do now most of the time, the observer of me, the little me, the Carl Stedmond, the martial arts instructor, the singer. It's not who I am.
Right.
It's just a role that I'm playing. It's an enjoyable role, and you can enjoy it even more so when you know that it's not you. We're eternal. We're having this human experience, and then it's almost like a game. It's an experience that we're having, but it's not who we are. And so it makes everything better. It makes taste taste nicer. Good times are even better because for me personally, I'm a big football fan and I love Liverpool. Actually, I think Liverpool are quite big in Singapore, aren't they? Liverpool Football Club. They have a
I
lot of fans over there.
I wouldn't know. I'm not really into
Okay,
soccer.
you're not into that. Okay, but I can watch a game now without going, oh God, and getting mad.
Mm,
Whereas a lot of people watch a sport and they become so fanatical, it almost causes aggression against the other fans of the other team, right? But now I can enjoy it as the observer. So if we win, lose, or draw, it doesn't matter.
yeah, I like to call it like a healthy detachment.
Yes,
Yeah. But I would say that Eckhart doesn't really. I think you can still feel anger or whatever, but it's more so about not carrying that emotion with you throughout the rest of your day. Just trying to
yeah,
drop it if it doesn't serve you. Yeah,
yeah,
that's what it is for me. So I
yeah,
try to feel all these emotions, just let myself feel, But if I feel like it's not serving me, I'll just try to drop it and just stay rooted in presence.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how it is
Yeah.
for me. Do you have any
Yeah.
techniques that you do that like you enjoy from Eckhart's? For me, I like to do like the hand thing where you focus on your hands.
Oh yeah. I every day, every morning before I get up, there's a gentleman named Wim Hof, and he does breath retention. And what that does is so you basically breathe in and out for about 30 times, and then you hold your breath. And I think they usually start at the beginners. You hold your breath for a minute and a half, then you do it again, and then you hold it for 2 minutes, and then you do it again. You do it for maybe 2.5 minutes, then you do it again. Because each time the body holds that uh, within somehow, and you can get longer and longer periods of holding your breath. And by holding your breath, it does so many things to the body. It makes the body alkaline for a 24-hour period when you do this. So disease can't spread in the body as much. It does so many things for the blood. And so getting back to when Eckhart, you feel your hands, I do that with the whole body while I'm holding my breath. And I feel that the body, well, I always, when I breathe in the light. I let go any stress, then breathe in the light. And then when I'm holding my breath, I feel this light throughout my body. And I go down my body to my hands, my arms, down the body, down the legs, and that. And so I do that. Usually takes me about 20 minutes, and then I feel ready for the day.
Awesome. Yeah, I also do
Yeah.
something similar like that, and it's just so rejuvenating and it helps me start my day in a positive way.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna shift from spirituality to something a bit more general. The holidays are coming up. Christmas is
Yeah.
around the corner. What are you
Yeah.
gonna do for the holidays?
Drive to Florida.
Florida? In
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
US?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
To do what?
Well, my cousin lives down there, and it's my partner's birthday on New Year's Eve. So we're going to drive. It's going to take us I think it's about 20 hours, between 20 and 24 hours.
Wow.
So we're going to take a couple of days to drive down. So we're going to drive from the snow into the sunshine and spend about a week there and then come back.
So
Yeah.
it's snowing in Canada currently?
It isn't yet, but it won't be long before. Oh, actually, it is in some parts of Canada. Where we live, it's not, but I think it's going to be coming soon.
I've never experienced winter before. I know this sounds like a weird question, but how does winter work? Like, is there a specific day that the snow starts coming, or is it just random?
It's seasons, actually.
Seasons.
Yeah, you get the spring, summer, autumn, and winter.
And is it always at
So
the same day?
no, no. This year it's been quite mild.
Hmm.
It's because sometimes this time of year it can be -20, but today it was like +2. So this year has been. It can be different years, you know.
Okay. Must be
Yeah,
awesome to like play in the snow and stuff.
yeah, it's good, but you get fed up of it sometimes when you're driving.
Yeah, I heard people are like they get annoyed a lot by like snow.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, again, Eckhart's teachings, it's just weather, right? You
Right.
know. But I remember going back, that the interesting thing about Eckhart's teachings is I relate so much, because I do go back to the old Carl, and who would get annoyed because it was raining, or would get angry because I'm in traffic. And you know, all them things that can make a big difference in your life when you just accept it's just weather, or it's just traffic, you know, and it brings you back to the presence of who
Right.
you are.
Yeah, Eckhart talks a lot about surrender in his teachings. And
Yeah.
to be honest, I still struggle with surrender from time to time. I was wondering if you felt the same way as well, or sometimes you can't absolutely surrender to what is happening in a current situation.
Um,
It's a little difficult.
yeah, some things can. For me, it's probably more with emotions of people that you love. And if something has happened, I find it harder to surrender to that situation rather than anything materialistic. I'm not materialistic at all. Haven't been for a long time now. But there are times, but I do manage to do it, but it can take a bit longer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Presence is, even though like we practice presence a lot, it's still like not instantaneous. It still takes a little bit of
Yes.
work. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this week has been a little bit stressful for me as well, so I had to like really meditate this week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and meeting you was like a really great highlight of my week as well. So it was
Oh, that's
wonderful.
lovely. How do I pronounce your name, by the way?
Well, okay, so Anada is actually not my real name. It's Anada. I think Eckhart mentioned Anada before. It's a Buddhist term that means no self or non-self.
Oh, I love it. I love
Yeah, so
it.
my you can call me a Lois actually.
Lois.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was lovely to meet you, Lois, and thank you so much. And as I always say, you said this was a highlight of your week. It takes one to know one. And I've noticed that anyone, if I ever do a show and they come up to me with sincerity, they say, that was fabulous. And it's always because that fabulous is within you. To notice me and think about me, it's because it's in you.
Wow. I've never thought of it like that before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that is true. Okay, that is wonderful. Okay, just one last question before we hop
Yeah,
out of this
sure.
call. I want to
Yeah.
let the people know, because this will be on my YouTube channel. Where can
Yeah.
people find you and how can they support you?
Oh, they could go to my YouTube channel, which is Awaken Now, Carl Stedmond. And you've got the spelling of my name, because a lot of people spell my name wrong. Whenever I do a show, no, you spelt my last name wrong. But what's in the name? Also, I'm on TikTok, Carl Stedmond, Awaken Now on TikTok. And I have a website. It's carlstedmond.ca. And people can support me by just spreading my videos to other people and that. And I don't really make any financial. Money's never been my thing. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being abundant, and I do want to become abundant. And one day, if I make money from it, great, because I can do more good work out in the world as well.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah, just to spread my videos and say hello to me and tell them that to mention you, and I'll know it's come from you, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. I know I said that was last a question, but I actually wanted to ask one more question. What made you
Okay.
want to actually start content creation?
To spread the wisdom of who we are, yeah, and what is possible. I think when I became a singer, well, I don't think I know when I became a singer, and I told my family and friends I was becoming a singer, they thought I'd gone. But I knew something else. I knew that my heart was yearning to create through voice, through singing, uh, and just to let people know what is possible. That anything is possible when you believe. And I call it the law of attraction in action. We have to take that action. So I thought, you know what, I'll get a YouTube channel as well and just, put things out there.
Awesome. That is a wonderful
Yeah.
message. Thank you for watching this interview with Carl Stedmond. Go follow him on all his socials and go show him some love. Thanks for watching.